Ryan here. It's been a little while. I wanted to share some thoughts with you. I'm actually pretty excited about this video. I was in a hot yoga class this morning and I was laying there on the floor and I just heard every word that I wanted to say, and it felt so profound and worthwhile. And now here I am. I can't wait to see what my mouth says. So I have a question for you. I want you to stop for a moment. You can even pause the video, but I want you to think about 5 things that you know you're right about. These can be 5 values, these can be foundational concepts about your life, but just think, what are 5 things that you feel absolutely right about? And I'm not kidding. Pause the video, write them down, or even if you're driving or something, take a little bit of time. Think of a couple things that you feel right about. Okay, you ready? This weekend, I was up at a retreat for the Welcoming Way, which is the project that I started with Leah Pearlman and Sharon and Vince a couple, almost 2 years ago. We had a big retreat, and one of the participants there, Mihao, gave this really cool talk. He called it a field trip, and this is a little bit of a rehash of what he shared, but I'm going to connect this to crypto, I'm going to connect this to art, I'm going to connect this to life, and I think it is worth thinking about. So full credit to Mihao. Those things that you feel most right about, what if those are the very things that are holding you back from living the life that you desire? Now, I don't know about you, but the things that I wrote down for this exercise were things like love and creativity and the importance of relationships and fairness and reciprocity and collaboration. All of these virtues that for me feel foundational to how I want to live in the world. I want to believe in love, and I want to believe that despite evidence to the contrary, at our core, humans are actually maybe misunderstood, maybe not always acting the best, but maybe it's because the situations and circumstances we find ourselves in bring out fear and panic, etc., etc. But at our core, I believe that humans are, if not good, then at least acceptable as we are. Just as a chimpanzee might not be solidly good and virtuous at its core, it's still what a chimpanzee is. It still came from nature. It still embodies its own virtues. And not saying that humans are directly comparable to chimpanzees. Sometimes we act like them, hence the analogy. But my inner compass tells me that humans are divine, and they are beautiful and capable of such beautiful things. And that's why, as I look around here in my art studio, I've been giving my time to that expression of beauty, and it comes from these foundational beliefs. But the question is, what if the things that we believe, that we feel we're so right about, are the very things that are holding us back? Now, I want to tie this back into a couple beats ago. This YouTube channel for me and cryptocurrency, and how that rightness has hurt me so much. If you play back the tape, 2021, bull market, all the excitement. For me, I was at a very interesting crossroads, and crypto was right there as a set of concepts, as a community, as a conversation that just wrapped me in its arms and made me feel so hopeful that humanity had a path forward that would take me away from the governments and the banks and the manipulators and the 1%, et cetera, et cetera. It felt like a skylight in a very dark time and place. And so I believed so strongly that I was right about crypto. And I remember the messages I was sending my friends and family. I remember the conviction with which I talked about cryptocurrency to everyone. And I was even in a conversation recently at a kava bar where a lot of younger people were gathered, and they're all into crypto, and they really believe in that same way that the values are there in crypto, and they feel right about it, that fiat currency is just paper trash circling the drain, and cryptocurrency represents this opportunity for people to be free, to be sovereign. And so the question here is, how are the things that we're right about holding us back? And one of the questions that Mihao asked was, what does it feel like to be wrong? Now think about this for a second. I think our minds naturally jump to the feeling of finding out we're wrong. So for me with crypto, when I found out the Wyckoff distribution schematic and I saw, oh my gosh, I've been wrong about crypto. It is not free from manipulation. It's actually highly manipulated, being manipulated. That feeling was intense. That's not the feeling I'm talking about, though. I'm not talking about what it feels like to find out you're wrong, or to have shame or guilt, or let's use something other than crypto. Let's just say Alanis Morissette, for those of you that were around in the 90s, maybe early 2000s, there's a funny meme out there where one of her song lyrics sounds like "the cross-eyed bear that you gave to me." And girls and people all over the world were singing Alanis Morissette and singing "the cross-eyed bear that you gave to me," when the lyric was actually "the cross-eyed bear that you gave to me." But that cross-eyed bear, what did it feel like to be wrong singing those lyrics? Well, it didn't feel like anything. It might have even felt joyful. It might have felt like just the refrain of singing, even if the lyric, you have it wrong, being wrong and being right feel the same in the moment. And the point there is that no matter what conviction you hold, no matter what belief you hold, no matter what you think you're right about, whether it's right or wrong, it feels the same. And why that's important to me right now is because, especially this weekend, I had reflected back to me really strongly how some of my fundamental rightness, the things that I'm so sure of, are the things that are keeping me, holding me back, keeping me from taking steps forward, keeping me from growing. And I would even say that in a very real way, Luna's shaking out her collar. In a very real way, with the crypto thing, I went on a complete flip-flop from being such an advocate for it and shouting from the rooftops to then feeling so right about how rotten it was, and the scammers in the space and the YouTubers that are just, getting views regardless of what the content was. Even the worse the content, the more the views, and the whole circus, and being wrapped up in it. I felt so right that I didn't want to take any money from anybody. I didn't want to be wrapped in with the shillers and the circus. And I felt that because of my values, which are about relationships and creativity and reciprocity and giving, I showed up on this channel and I gave and I gave and I gave and I gave. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking to myself, these gifts are going to get me ahead. They're going to get me where I want to be. And where I wanted to be, I think, was in a place where I was able to stand on my own 2 feet, where I was able to decide what I wanted to do in a given day and focus on creativity. Yet the giving, the refusing to take any money, the crypto garden, for those of you that were around those days, that was kind of an interesting blend because there were a lot of other personalities involved that were kind of leading me down that path, but I was so resistant to charging for anything. But here's my point, and here's my story. So this weekend, I had a painting that I made for, I'll call her a friend. She's a close friend of a close friend, and I've been around her enough to appreciate her, so I'm going to call her a friend. I created a piece of art for her. It was cows. This is not actually the one that I gave to her, but this was one of the many different iterations and sketches and things that I made. And so I brought her a piece of art. I brought her these cows, and in my mind, if I'm being honest, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, this person is a connector. She has the means to buy art. She's exactly the kind of person that I want to be a fan of me. And by giving her a gift, it's kind of a sneaky way to avoid the difficult feelings around, hey, I brought you this. It's $500 or it's $1,000 or whatever the price is. In that moment, for me, what I feel right about is that there is a break from the virtue of giving. And then it's not for her, it's for her money. And then I feel dirty. I feel manipulative. I feel not the ways that I want to feel. And so what happened was I gave her the painting, and she wanted to buy it. And I told her no, that it was a gift. And so right there, I shut down the exchange, shut down the flow of reciprocity, and it created this kind of chaotic situation where it was almost an argument, and I had to see and just pause. And it's fortunate that Mihao gave this talk, and I really had to sit there and think about how is what I think I'm right about holding me back. And I got to see and hear from her how, sure, it's a gift. It's a gift because I thought of her, because I made it for her with the intention of giving it to her. She wanted to pay for it. And in that exchange, in her being able to buy it, she now feels like she is supporting a young artist. She is contributing her time and energy that she spends making money and channeling it to something that she cares about, me. And by me shutting that down, I'm blocking the whole flow of mojo, of money and mojo. And so what I want to offer here is a question. What are the things that you feel most right about? And are those things perhaps the big obstacles and the big blockers? Now, it's hard. I mean, I can already hear the objections, and in this Welcoming Way retreat, there were a lot of conversations about this. A lot of what the fuck, like no, just like hard no. And that resistance to this idea is also part of this self-reinforcing system that we, or at least I know and I think many of us have inside of us, where I know I'm right, I know I'm right, I know I'm right, and we use different data. It could be consensus. Everybody thinks that. Everyone I talk to thinks crypto is the shit, so it must be the shit. That's proof, the social proof. There can be perception, senses. I can rely on seeing that plant is green and knowing that plant is green, but maybe by knowing that plant is green, I'm missing what more information it has for me. So I want to share that a little bit. What I'm doing here is more and more, I would like to be coming on this channel and sharing the things that are coming up to me. There's been so much that has happened in the 2 years since I started posting these market analysis videos, and the path that I have been on as a person, working through some really deep, dark shit, and coming to a point where I'm now more and more a full-time artist and trying to make that work, and recognizing that the only way that I can make it work is to learn lessons from the YouTube channel and to learn lessons from people like Mihao and my friend who challenged me on this giving idea, and to just be open to the possibilities. And you can take this however is meaningful or not at all. But that's the question here, is where do you want to go? What vision do you have for yourself in the future? And where do you think you're right? Where do you know you're right? Realizing that feeling right is the exact same thing as being wrong. And even once you know you're wrong, then you feel right about being wrong. So we're always in this state of hardening And sometimes it's a softening. It's an opening to the possibility. I don't know what would have happened back in the old days on Uncomplication if I would have been like, you know what, fuck it, I don't care anymore. You know, sponsorship deals, newsletters, subscriptions, Patreons. The irony is I tried some of those things later on because it did feel like I was giving my gift over and over and over, and my expectation actually was that it would be somehow repaid. That by giving and giving, I wanted to show that it didn't have to be taking and taking, but I was unwilling to receive. So that's my little story today. If you would like to follow along with my journey, I just started a Facebook. I deleted my Facebook years ago, and now I've started a new Facebook, Ryan Stover and Ryan Stover Art, and I am making it a point to post there, to share my process, to share the projects I'm working on, the different paintings and commissions, and this whole unfolding. This is so exciting to me. And the fact that I have gone from wherever I was, which was a pretty messy place, to now being in a studio, making art, and learning a lot along the way is thrilling. And I wouldn't change anything that happened in the past, but I'm excited to share the little stepping stones, the little insights, the unblockers that have allowed me to receive the energy that the universe keeps trying to give me over and over and over. And I keep saying no, because I'm so right about this. I'm so right about we should all be kinder and give before you take. And those are still values I hold. And there's a softening. There's a recognition that this is a symbiotic happening. We're all happening together. And to give with the expectation of getting secretly is actually out of alignment with my values, compared to saying, hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, this is what I need, this is what I want, and this is how you can help. That is a new position for me, and it's exciting. So yeah, if there's an ask, it's just to follow the Facebook or to follow the Instagram. Links are in the description. And I am planning to put together a pretty cool series of art just for this Uncomplication community. Things that I've already done in the past that I think are just freaking cool, and I think you'll be excited to be able to purchase and proudly display these very cool, very thoughtful, very crypto-related images that I've made over the years. So stay tuned for that. All right, y'all. Until next time, cheers.